Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. We go over nothing but numbers, no fluff, no sales. I'm just going to tell you how the real estate market is doing right now, strictly by the numbers. Hope you had a great Mother's Day. Storms kind of ruined a little bit of breakfasts for us, but it kind of niced up a little afterwards, and it looks like this week is going to be fantastic. But we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about housing. Let's go.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and
Don't need no permission.
I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth? All right, so there's some extremely interesting items that are happening right now. I got a call yesterday asking for something in Santa Rosa County, and they said they wanted it under $50,000. And as you're going to see here in a minute, nothing. There's nothing in Santa Rosa County under $50,000. Not even a lot. Nothing. So if you've got something that you think is valued at under $50,000 and you want to sell it, call me. You'll be the only game in town, so we can probably figure something out. As always, though, I want to start off with this slide so we can get a good baseline. I do this every week. It talks about the difference between a seller's, a buyer's, and a neutral market. Neutral market is always 6 to 7 months worth of inventory. It's not a buyer's or a seller's. Anything less than 6 is a seller's market. Anything greater than 7 is a buyer's market. Anything greater than 9 is a hyper buyer's market. Anything less than 3 is a hyper seller's market. So those are good numbers to know as we move into our next slide. We're going to start off with Santa Rosa County since I already brought it up. Here we go. If you notice on the left here is the price points. On the right is the month's inventory. Now, this is the first time. I've been getting these reports for a long time. And this is the first time I've seen an NA. Not applicable. There is 0 properties in Santa Rosa County between the 0 and 50,000 mark. And if you look at under 100, there's 1.3 months worth of inventory. So there's literally only 10 active, and we got 12 pending. So there's only 1.3 months worth of inventory. And look at the next mark. This is what's interesting in Santa Rosa County. 100 to 150, less than a month mark. There's less than a month's worth of inventory there. So what would that consider that? An extremely hyper seller's market. You need to know that when you're negotiating. You need to know that when you're listing. Okay, I've got people that I'm listing some property for in Santa Rosa County right now that need to know, and we're getting a little more aggressive. Now, 200 to 250, it's 2.5. So you're still a hyper seller's market, anything under 250. Once you get above 250 up to about 450, we're going to call that a seller's market. But there's a big difference between 1.4 months worth of inventory at the 150 to 200 and the 3 to 350 at 4.6 months worth of inventory. And I don't want people to get a little too excited about this going, hey, it's a hyper seller's market. I can mark this thing $40,000 over where it belongs. I literally had that conversation with a potential client, I want to say it was last week. We had the conversation. Yeah, excuse me. We had the conversation because they were listed with another agent and they had just canceled that listing, and they asked me to come out and tell them what I would do. And there's really 2 reasons why a property doesn't sell. One is marketing. The other one's price. With her, I really did believe it was both. I thought the marketing that I saw, and I didn't see everything that the other agent did, but the marketing that I saw looked minimal. That's probably the word. It looked minimal. Whereas the price, and maybe this is why the marketing was minimal, but the price was about $40,000 over where it should be at. They had it listed at $339. This particular client or potential client did not like the fact that I said we need to come in at $299, and the comps really showed. And if you look here, between $250 and $299 is 3 months worth of inventory. I told her we need to come in right around the $299 mark, $297, $299. But if you look at the comps, the value of the property, if I look at just past sales, is probably closer to $287, $285. Well, that's a big difference. Now, I think we can get $299 because the last couple of solds were early in the year. We're in May. So part of what I do when I look at evaluation is I actually forward look, knowing, hey, we're earning an X amount of percentage of appreciation. I'm going to factor that into my 4 or 5 months from the last sold. So I'm not just looking at comparables from last solds. That's like driving down the road and only looking through the rearview mirror. I got to look in front of me too. Is the market appreciating, depreciating, stabilized? What is it? Well, needless to say, I do not think she liked that conversation. I was informed that she is going to use a different real estate agent who I just saw come on the market closer to where she was listed before. Okay, okay, I get it. I get it. Sometimes the truth, as you can see when I do these shows, the truth is hard to swallow. But I wish them the best of luck. I hope they get it. Maybe they'll get a cash buyer that'll get that in. So anyways, let's get back to Santa Rosa County. So between 250 and 500 is a seller's market. Between 250 and 450 is a seller's market. 450 to 500 is a neutral market. And if you remember last week, it was 450 to 550 was a neutral market. But look, 500 to 550 has now become a hyper buyer's market. So anything over $500,000, honestly, in Santa Rosa County is a hyper buyer's market, ranging from 9 months worth of inventory to 10 and a half to a year to a little over 2 years. And then 700,000 looks like it's right under 700,000 plus. Looks like it's right under a year with over 50 properties on the market. So that's Santa Rosa County. Let's go squeeze over here to Escambia County and see what's what. See if we still have that little pocket that we keep talking about. Okay, so if you look here, 0 to 50,000, we actually have 11 properties. And if I were to guess, they're probably lots. But we got 11 properties in Escambia County, but that's less than a month's inventory. So under $50,000, I had a client call me. It was an online person. Somebody was looking online and said, listen, I really need you to find me a house under $50,000. And I went, that's going to be tough. Of course, she wanted a 3-bedroom, a 2-bath, not built, later than 2000. And it took everything I had for me to go, and do you want it on the water too? Because, that was a big, big ask, all under $50,000 because she wanted to pay cash. I get the desire. I understand the desire. I'm just here to tell you the truth, though. I'm not here to tell you what you desire is always available. So under $50,000, it's just not there. I did find a 1-bedroom loft that was there, but that's not what she wanted either. So I think she's going to be watching the show. I know, hello, but I know that she's going to be looking and seeing that that's the market. It's the market here. Okay, so under $50,000 is a hyper seller's market. Under $200,000 in Escambia County. Now, if you remember, Santa Rosa County was under $250,000. $250,000 had 3 months worth of inventory. Escambia County has come down some because at $2 to $250,000, we're at 3.2. So you're almost creeping up to a hyper seller's market there. Between $250,000 and $350,000, we got somewhere in the 4-month inventory range. Okay. Between $350,000 and $450,000 is a neutral market. There's a lot of properties there. What's that? 130 active and 90 active. So 193 active properties. You got some properties you can look at between 350 or between 300 and 400. Now, if you come down between 450 and 500, that's always been that pocket. But if you remember last week, that was almost a year's inventory. It's now down some to 9.9 months worth of inventory. So that's interesting that that's down, but the 5 to 550 is up because if I remember correctly, I think that was about 5 months worth of inventory. So I wonder if some of this slid up, slid sideways, whatever. I know that I have a house that's $500,000 right now. We actually just put it under contract. So that's going to get pulled out of that statistic today. 550 to 600 is a year's worth of inventory. So anything over 550 in Escambia County is a year's. 650 is almost a year. 650 to 700 is 2.5 years. That's a lot of inventory. But look, it's not necessarily a lot of houses because I've been getting some comments on this. So you say there's a lot of inventory. It doesn't necessarily mean that's a lot of houses. If you look down here, it's only 15 active properties. The problem is only 2 of them are under contract. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean there's necessarily a plethora of properties because I did have one person watch the show and go, listen, you said there was 3 years worth of inventory. I can't find any houses that I like. I went, well, okay, wait a minute. What price point are we talking about? She told me, and I looked. I said, okay, so I need to clarify that here on the show. It is not necessarily a plethora of properties. It just means the demand for the properties there is 30 months worth of inventory. So we've only got 2 properties pending out of 15. So if we do that every 6 weeks, it's going to take us 2.5 years, because they do calculate what's going to come on the market. So the market is just not gobbling up the 650 to 699 market much at all in Escambia County. And then 700,000, we got almost 2 years worth of inventory. A lot of that's probably going to be your beachfront condos. We do have some houses, well, even down in Port Royal, that's probably going to be more the 650 to 700 range. So anyways, that is the market for Escambia and Santa Rosa County. And hopefully I kind of clarified some stuff we talked about, because like I said, I did get called out by a listener, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. There was a young listener that listened last week, told me that they're 17, they're studying for the real estate license. They want to open a real estate brokerage and rental management company here in Pensacola. Go for it. Go for it. I wish you the best of luck on that. All right, so do me a favor. If you found any value in this, any value at all, if any of this stuck with you, hit like, hit comment, hit share. Okay? Hit like, give me a comment, hit share. If you have even considered the possibility of selling a property of yours, hit the message. Hit the private message button, whether it be on Facebook. You can send me a message through YouTube. You can send me a message through Instagram, what have you. Let's chat. As you can see, most of this marketplace is still considered a seller's market. But if we get up in the buyer's market range, that's okay. It just means we got to differentiate. We got to change. So there's still a lot of activity happening, especially right now in the middle of May. So school's going to be out here in about 2-3 weeks. I know the kids are ready for summer. A lot of people move right around that time frame. We get some people transferring in from the base. I know I've got quite a few listings coming up soon. And it takes time. It takes time. We can't have a meeting today and me have the property on the market tomorrow. I just can't do that, because there takes time for me to prep it. There's work I have to do, not even necessarily what you have to do. There's work I have to do in order to prep the property to get ready for the market, and that can take a week or 2 weeks. Okay, so plus there's some marketing strategies behind that we can talk about when we're sitting face to face. So if you've even considered, you just want to find out if you can get a number that you're in your head, let's chat, reach out, okay? But if you found any value in this, do me that other favor though. Like, comment, share. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there, and
Don't need no permission.
I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?